Do you remember when this was a big deal?
All over Steph. LeBron drives for the lead. He puts it in.
Believe it or not, there was a point in time not very long ago when Team USA went from one of the greatest teams of all time to in danger of not winning the gold medal because of a 1-point win against South Sudan. Not a loss, but a win had people calling this USA team frauds. The same USA team that was missing their all-time leading scorer. And oh, the same USA team that was only playing an exhibition match. Because that's exactly what the first game against South Sudan was, an exhibition match. Fast forward a week later, and the real stuff has started for Team USA. And unsurprisingly, Team USA have looked absolutely dominant, beating Serbia by 26 points in Game 1, and now beating South Sudan by 17 points in Game 2. Team USA was so good that they didn't even need Joel Embiid. Or were they so good because they didn't play Joel Embiid? I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. What I will say, however, is whether you're a fan of Joel Embiid or not, Steve Kerr's decision to start Anthony Davis was the right decision. Not only because Anthony Davis has outplayed Embiid almost every game so far for Team USA, but it also meant more minutes for Bam Adebayo as the lone center, and those two wreaked havoc on South Sudan, combining for 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 stocks in a combined 40 minutes on the floor. And if you're a fan of any NBA team watching these Olympics, you have to feel very, very good if that team is the Miami Heat, because I don't think anyone has proved more throughout these exhibition games and now at the Olympics than Bam Adebayo. Although apparently some people still haven't caught on to the fact he's a very, very good basketball player.
And there may be a guy like Bam Adebayo that gets benched in that game.
Now, aside from Brian Windhorst, I think we all know Bam is a great player, but the question mark has always been about whether he can match the level of guys like Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic. Now, I'm not sure if I'm ready to say he's as good as those guys yet. Obviously not Jokic, but the conversations around Kristaps Porzingis, Karl Anthony Towns, Domantas Sabonis, even Nikola Vucevic was a conversation at one point. These can stop, and we can stop giving Domantas Sabonis All-NBA over Bam with all due respect. He's a very good player, but the fact of the matter is, Bam has not only been one of the 3 best defenders in the NBA for about 5 years now, but he's managed to consistently average 20, 10, and anywhere from 4 to 5 assists per game, all the whilst never having an elite point guard. Guys, the best point guard he's ever played with was probably 33-year-old Goran Dragic in 2019. Compare that to the likes of Embiid playing with 3 different all-star guards, or Sabonis playing with Fox. Even Jokic with Murray has clearly been better than any point guard Bam has ever played with. And these games for USA are reminding us, oh yeah, Bam is a freak athlete who can catch lobs and can detonate on players on rolls to the rim. He just needs a chance. It's also shown us a side of Bam which we hadn't seen as consistently, which is Bam with a consistent 3-ball, because he's been taking and making on a consistent basis for Team USA so far. And when you consider he shoots anywhere from 75 to 80% from the line and has really nice touch on mid-range jumpers, it wouldn't be surprising to see him turn into a legitimate 3-point shooter, not just someone who's going to take one every so often, but someone who can actually knock them down. Now, speaking of legitimate 3-point shooters, I hope Jaylen Brown had the TV on for today's game, because after spending 2 weeks crying about his own teammate being selected over him, about how it was a conspiracy against him, Derrick White showed exactly why he was selected. It's probably not going to be good for my retention to talk about Bam Adebayo and Derrick White for the first 5 minutes of this video, but we're doing it anyway, because let us show our respects to the bald Mamba, who might not be as talented or as good at basketball as Jaylen Brown, but when you have a team of players who are used to having the ball in their hands, bringing in one of the best off-ball players and defenders in the NBA is never a bad selection, and this game absolutely proved that, with White playing 17 minutes, shooting 100% from the field, all of which were threes, and also recording 3 3 steals and 1 block, looking like the best defender on the floor and the best shooter on the floor at the same time, which again shouldn't be a surprise considering he just finished a playoff run shooting 40% from 3 on over 8 attempts per game, becoming the 3rd player in NBA history to do so. Take a guess at who the other 2 were. So when you're an elite shooter, one of the best defenders in the NBA, a good passer, and a player with absolutely zero ego, there's not a single team on earth that you can't play a role for. And we're seeing that right now with Team USA. And if we're being honest, not only was he deserving of the spot over Brown, but he's also outplaying Jason Tatum so far. Yes, there's a reason the Celtics finally won the championship this year. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are incredible players, but to have a pairing of Jrue Holiday and Derrick White as 4th and 5th options plus an all-star level center, I mean, let's be real with ourselves, it's just an unbelievable group of players. Kinda like Team USA, because one night you get Kevin Durant coming off an injury and not missing a single shot in the first half against one of the best teams in the world, single-handedly crushing the hopes of Serbia. On another night, LeBron can give you close to a triple-double in less than 30 minutes, still looking like the most unstoppable force of nature we have seen, even at 57 years old. And then you have the consistency of someone like Devin Booker, who once again started, and once again, he just doesn't make mistakes, finishing the game with 10 points, 6 assists, and a steal, taking the 2nd least amount of shots of any starter, but being the only starter to have a positive plus-minus in the game, which means in 7 games now, both exhibition and for the Olympics, Devin Booker has had a positive plus-minus every single game, regardless of if he's been starting or coming off the bench. At some point, it's not a coincidence that a guy who consistently makes the right plays every single game is also contributing to winning every single time he's on the floor. The same could be echoed for Jrue Holiday, for Derrick White, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, all of these guys who are consistently playing great defense, moving the ball, moving off the ball, and taking on whatever role is required of them to help win. But it's particularly satisfying to watch this from D-Book, seeing as there was a time when Devin Booker was called an empty stats, bad team player. The same guy who doesn't care if he takes 5 shots in 25 minutes for Team USA, whilst consistently adding playmaking and defense that he was always criticized for early in his career. Imagine if someone made a video talking about just how good he is. Look at me promoting my own content. Sorry guys, but with that being said, feel free to check out that video, subscribe if you want, it's free, dropping a like would be cool, but most importantly, thanks for watching and have a very great day.